Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So, I just got back from Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. A buddy of mine actually took me out. It was an early Christmas present, so super thankful for that. And yeah, the movie, I actually did enjoy the movie a little bit more than I thought I would, but there's still some issues that I definitely want to bring up. And I haven't really talked about the Resident Evil movie too much on the channel, just because I know they had another Netflix movie or something, and I was kind of mixed up with everything. But anyways, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City was directed by Johannes Roberts. I'm not entirely sure how you say his first name, but I've heard of some of the things that he's done before. He did 47 Meters Down. I haven't watched that yet, but I have heard of it. The movie's been in development for quite a while. They actually started to work on the reboot right after Resident Evil Final Chapter came out. And, you had James Wan attached to it. Or at least he had some interest in it. It was overall, I guess, in the end, written by Roberts, Johannes Roberts, and it was written and directed by him. And honestly, I think that was kind of the issue here. They actually filmed the movie up here in Canada, which is kind of cool, in Ontario. So that's kind of neat. It's always fun for me personally whenever they film things in Canada, just because Canada's it's always seen as the little brother to America, right? So it's kind of cool when things like that happen up here. Like the Last of Us series is being filmed up here. That's super exciting. But anyways, this movie, honestly, I had really low expectations going in. I just thought I was like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the references, but I think it's going to be a shit movie. It's going to be horrible. And I think during certain scenes, I'm going to hate watching it. I might be checking my watch kind of thing. I basically went in with that mentality, and I came out actually. Honestly, I didn't care for the time at all. It's pretty entertaining throughout. It flows pretty well for the most part, at least in terms of, being bored and having fun. I would say overall, you do have fun with it. If you're a big fan, again, this movie I would say is for people who played the games, who really know the games, because this is way more faithful to the games, but it's not completely faithful. And I guess this is where we're going to get into some spoilers here. So when you're looking at the main cast, Chris and Claire, I think are perfectly casted, and Wesker a little bit. Wesker is all right. I really think Leon and Jill were miscast completely. The characters don't look like the video game characters, and it's not even that. They're not even portrayed the same way, especially Leon. It's so hard for me to believe that is Leon, because he doesn't act like the character at all. Leon, sure, he's the rookie cop or whatever, right? But he's a little more cool, a little more badass, a little more confident in himself. And this character was, he wasn't really, you could argue he was the comedic relief, but he wasn't really the comedic relief because he was always the guy who people made fun of. So, I don't know, they just made him kind of pathetic in this movie. And it was, I love Leon in the franchise, and it was so disappointing to see that. The same thing goes for Jill too. Jill just didn't act like Jill at all. She just kind of, I don't know, she just wasn't the character. But Chris, man, when he wears the green vest and he actually goes into the mansion, it really felt like, okay, this is really Chris Redfield. Wesker at times felt like Wesker, and other times, in terms of the motivations, and I think that was a little off. He overall had no idea what was going on, whereas in the games he was actually working, I believe, with the Birkin or Spencer family or whatever. He actually knew what was going on. And here he had no idea. He was just given some clues. And then in the, I don't know. I will say I love the post-credit scene though, because it was a reference to the scene in or at least when you first boot up the game, that you see that zombie waking up. He gets up, he's in that bag, he gets shot, goes back down. That I really like that. It was cool because when we were kids, we used to say that was one of our friends, this and that got shot. So it was kind of nice to see that. And the references are overall okay. There's the one scene where Wesker is playing Moonlight Sonata. I liked that. And honestly, that was the only puzzle, so that kind of sucked. It did also happen a little too fast, and some of the visuals were really cool, but also felt really rushed. There's one scene where I think it's Chris who walks by the room with you see the deer head mounted on the wall. That was such an awesome reference right there, but they just walked by it. My brothers actually had no idea that scene happened. And I wish they would have used way more video game mechanics here, where they could have actually had, I don't know, a gem in the eye, or they could have just did really anything. I know my buddy was hoping that they were gonna use the mask idea, right? With the 4 masks you gotta find. I figured they weren't gonna do that, but I was hoping for that, because man, that would have been badass. Could you imagine? But I think it's because of the runtime. they were never going to get around to it. And so that's kind of why I don't understand why the director and writer chose to do the first and second game. It was just so stupid to do that. Because not only are you rushing through the whole mansion, and like honestly, some of the mansion visuals look really cool, but like at certain points you're like, I'm not going to see any more of the mansion, right? Like they're going to run through this place. And the first and second act for the most part I think worked. I've seen other people review this movie and hate the very first act. I actually didn't mind it. It was just the third act got so messy, and it was I honestly I don't even know what the hell happened there. Like there's a moment where Leon literally fires a rocket launcher in a train. No one else dies but the Birkin guy or whatever. And I mean, like, are you kidding me? Like, if you fired an actual rocket launcher in that train, you would have killed everyone. So again, another stupid thing that Leon did. There were a lot of really cool references here. I mean, I could go into a lot of it. Like, obviously, Lisa Trevor was so cool to see, but like, she wasn't even in the mansion. So it just kind of ruined that whole thing. You didn't even have Barry in here, which I just felt like was kind of stupid. It was cool to see that William Birkin injected himself with the G-Virus. And at the end, they kind of combined a lot of elements from the second game with the first game, which didn't really work. There was some stuff, I guess, with Wesker and Wesker's like quote unquote death kind of thing, right? Like there was just, I don't know. They did a lot of things here that I think just, I don't know what the director and writer was thinking. Like in my head, I think he was probably thinking, well, we're going to do this sort of origin story. We're going to have all the characters, together in the very beginning. And so that's why you had a lot of the first act with a lot of the characters together. They were working at, I guess, Raccoon City Police Department, which I didn't hear any reference to like the STARS team at all. But I guess that was the STARS Alpha team, right? Inside the RPD or whatever. The helicopter stuff was cool. Seeing them travel in a helicopter, all that was really cool. But again, everything just felt so rushed that it just, I don't know. I kind of hated it. Like Leon didn't feel like Leon, and it was cool to see Ada Wong again, but like, I don't want a Resident Evil franchise based off of this. I want them to redo it again. It kind of sucks, but I actually want them to redo it again. And so, yeah, I can't remember the point I was going to make actually before, but just, overall, my thoughts on this are that I have so many complaints about it, but I did actually enjoy it. If I were to rank it out of 10, I would give it like a 4 or 5 out of 10. There were so many things that, if anything, I just get frustrated with, because like, again, going into this movie, I thought I was going to hate it so much. I really thought I was going to hate it. And then it just turned out that actually, I kind of enjoyed the premise a little bit. It was totally miscast, at least certain characters, but I actually started to buy into the premise a little bit. I like how the zombies were done to a certain extent anyways, at least the zombies that were, or the people that were slowly turning because they were slowly infected. That was really cool. Once they were zombies after, it kind of, I hated the whole jump scare aspect to it. I think it just kind of ruined it. But yeah, then I just started to get really frustrated with it, because there was just like, you could have did this better. You could have did this better. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you just make the first game, the first movie? And man, that stuff I just found really frustrating. And again, that was the point I was going to make. I feel like the director, the reason why he did that was because, again, if he's remaking this story, in that Raccoon City Police Department, you had all the stars or all the members together. He wanted to have everybody in that scene, right? To have Leon there and stuff. And so afterwards, he was probably thinking, well, then we'll just tell his side of the story, right? But I feel like what it should have been was like, you see Leon there, and properly casted too, but you see Leon there in that room, and then that's it. Like, that was just a little Easter egg, a little reference for the second movie. And then in the second movie, you can just tell his point of view. I don't know. The budget for this movie was $25 million, which is a lower budget, which, doesn't sound like it, but it is a lower budget. The movie has so far made, I mean, from what I'm seeing here anyways, $5.5 million, but it could definitely be a lot higher. And yeah, I think in the end, it might make its budget back. I definitely think it will make some profit, I think, but not much at all. The movie was just overall, like I said, it was just kind of disappointing, which is funny for me to say because I went in with low expectations. It's just that I started to actually enjoy it, but like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, these are my thoughts on Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. I would love for them to do a sequel, but I don't know. Do you recast the characters to make them more likable or to at least fit the video game? I don't think you can really do that at this point. And I don't like what they did with the story. The ending was kind of abrupt and didn't, anyways, I can go on and on about this movie, but like I said, I actually did enjoy it. It was fun to hang out, with some friends and stuff. My brothers also came out, and overall, definitely post your thoughts down below. If you've watched the movie, let me know what you thought, and also make sure you post like your experiences with the first game or second, third game, whatever. for me, you know, Resident Evil growing up was really big. Like, me and my friends played it all the time. It was just such a big game that came out. And so, you know, the Resident Evil franchise overall is just, I love it so much. I love it to death. And, you know, anything that comes out with it, I'm of course going to watch. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. But anyways, I'll keep rambling on here. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.